Hello, good evening and welcome. I'm Karima Brown and you're watching Political Exchange, where we unpack Africa's political economy. Parties involved in the Marikana talks at Lonmin mine signed a peace accord on Thursday to pave the way for wage negotiations. This after weeks of instability at the mine following the deaths of over 40 people linked to a wildcat strike by rock drillers. However, the Association of Mine Workers Construction Union AMCO and Marikana workers' representatives did not sign the agreement. The accord leveled the ground for wage negotiation. It also included a commitment to create a peaceful work environment. One of the people that have been central to this process is South Africa's Labour Minister, Mildred Olifant, and she joins me now in the studio. Minister, thank you so much for joining us and for making the time. You have been busy with this problem since it started. We've got a peace agreement signed today, but one of the unions that is central to the labour dispute, AMCO, is not involved in that peace accord. Does this peace accord hold if AMCO is not involved in it?
In terms of this peace accord, it will really assist particularly the workers who are rock drillers, but even when I have discussed with them, they have now said, no, it's not only rock drillers, but it's just general workers. The peace accord, of course, will be a tool to reopen the negotiations, provided that the workers also sign and participate as observers in the negotiations. The reason why probably AMCO has not signed is because in terms of the Labour Relations Act, they don't have the membership at the Lonmin mine, and probably they don't want to be the observers because we have given them that they are going to have an observer status. But the unions that have signed the agreement, that is currently on the table in terms of the wage agreement, they are the ones who have allowed the situation for the reviewal of the negotiations, particularly on the issues that the rock drillers have made. So I just want to appeal to AMCO and to workers in particular that this is their opportunity, and because one, the strike in terms of the Labour Relations Act is illegal, but we have said we want to bring the stability in Marikana, and therefore that is why we have come up with these proposals. And the negotiators on behalf of the workers, I must say they are very positive, but they said they are not going to sign this evening precisely because they have to go and report back. And then we are waiting for them to confirm. And immediately, if they are saying they are ready to sign, and then the CCMA will go and assist them.
Now, we've spoken about the fact that AMCO doesn't have representation in terms of the current Labour Relations Act, and because they don't have the threshold to be, a player. Now, in the Karee shaft, they do have quite a substantial percentage of workers that belong to them. How do you accommodate the fact that they have the majority at Karee and that they need to be part of these discussions?
That is the reason why we have said they must have this observer status. But at Karee mine, they can participate in the negotiations. Because at the present moment, what happens in the platinum industry is that they are discussing the negotiating as individual mining companies. But I must also indicate that if everything goes well, because we also have the discussions with the industry, to encourage them to have a centralized bargaining where they can share the ideas, because it will be easier for the workers to also understand what is it that each and every mine is getting. So what they are doing right now, they are looking at what the other mine is getting, and then they will fight for that particular issue. And so the industry, in terms of those discussions, I think they are really very positive, but we have not yet finalized that. We said, let us finalize this Marikana issue first. But at the national, if the industry agree for the central bargaining, then AMCO can have at least maybe a seat or two in terms of their membership, because I think they have just pockets of membership in various industries. So That is the only way where they can participate in terms of the Labour Relations Act. But
Minister,
at the present moment, at Lonmin they can't, because in terms of the threshold they don't qualify.
But we know what the law is, but the reality of the situation, of course, is that this union does represent those workers. We've seen on a daily basis at least 2,000 workers gathering on a koppie with AMCO T-shirts demanding to be heard. If they don't sign this peace accord, what happens to those miners who are sitting on that koppie on a daily basis? How do you pull them into the process?
The issue of being represented by the unions, the representatives of the workers, they said they are not the members of NUM nor AMCU, and they don't want AMCU nor NUM to represent them.
That is why, Minister, what is called the Workers' Representative Committees?
Yes.
Now, who are these people and who are they affiliated to? Are they a trade union movement, or are they just sporadic structures that have sprung up, in the context of Lonmin?
They said, yes, they were members of the union, but because the union has not listened to them, they have opted out so that they can have their own discussions and negotiate on their own behalf. And they said, but 3 months down the line, they can decide it's either to go back to their old union or to join another union. So at the present moment, they said they don't want to be represented by the NUM nor the AMCU. But when it comes to these open negotiations, because the only unions that have the membership in terms of the Labour Relations Act, NUM, UASA and Solidarity, are the ones who will be negotiating on their behalf while they will be observing. Because we can't run away of the Labour Relations Act. We should not allow that. But we have given them that status because they said the challenge is that these unions have not listened to them. So that is why they have agreed to sign the reviewal of the wage that is before the table at the present moment.
Now, of course, Marikana is the focus point at the moment, but we know that there has been restlessness at other mines. We've seen workers coming out at Royal Bafokeng. We've also seen Goldfields workers have come out. How confident are you, Minister, that the current labour relations regime will provide stability, at the workplace, particularly in the mining sector?
As we speak, I must say there are amendments that are before Parliament.
Take us through those amendments, Minister.
For example, the issue of Labour Relations Act and the Employment Equity Act that says equal pay for equal work. Let's say, for example, if you are a driller, then you must be paid equally because you are doing one and the same job. But the difference will be, it will be based on the experience of when you have been employed. But those who will be entering that particular category, they will be paid equally, and then that will be the only difference. So what we have said the workers, they have to deal with those particular issues, and those bills started at NETLEC, where the workers are represented there, the business are represented, and the government. And they have found a consensus on those particular issues. And I must say I'm very pleased, particularly on the employment equity, because they have agreed with everything in the legislation, except only one issue that deals with the fines of the companies if they don't implement the laws. But that is always the case. They won't agree. So that is why we are saying everybody must participate. The process now is in Parliament. Parliament is open for any recommendations, and therefore workers, if they are not satisfied what their representatives have said, they can contribute to that. But before even they went to NETLEC, we were running the parallel process because as the Department of Labour as well, we did our own public hearings where we have gone to all provinces, and most of the workers, they were supporting what is there on the legislation.
Now, Minister, you are a member of the African National Congress. The African National Congress is in an alliance with the Congress of South African Trade Unions, COSATU. COSATU has resisted changes to the current Labour Relations Act, saying that changes, they won't stand for changes that will roll back the gains that they have made. How confident are you that your alliance partner in NEDLAC will come to the party in terms of these amendments that you've put before Parliament?
As the COSATU as well has the right, as the members of the, it's either I can say as the union members, but at the same time as the community members. If they were not satisfied about the process of NEDLAC, they have the right to go to the portfolio committee and the select committee in Parliament to say, these are our proposed amendments. But I must say, in terms of the general discussions, and after I have explained to the organized labor, because what they have done as different organized labor, particularly I was invited by FEDUSA leadership, and also I was invited by COSATU leadership to explain why am I not banning the labor brokers. I said, one, you can't just separate only one issue. Labor brokers is linked to subcontracting and outsourcing. As long as we have outsourcing and subcontracting, you will always have people who will be working as temporal workers. And therefore, to deal with the challenges that have been caused by the so-called labor brokers, is that one, the people must be paid in terms, whenever you employ a person, there is a legislation that deals with the basic condition of employment, the Labour Relations Act, the bargaining agreements that have been signed by different industries, and also the sectoral determinations. So when whoever employs a person must use the laws of this country, and nobody, I'm saying nobody, will then work out of the labor, of the legislation that we have as a country. So that's what we are doing right now. And immediately that addresses the challenges that are caused by certain labor brokers, where they say they will supply you with the workers, but the companies will pay directly those labor brokers, and those labor brokers will decide how much they are paying to that particular worker. But we are saying even those labor brokers, as long as they employ people as they claim, then they must employ people in terms of the laws of the country.
Minister, we have to take a short break, but when we come back, we will continue our conversation with South Africa's Labour Minister, Mildred Olifant.